Warm greetings everyone, and I hope you all are hale and hearty with positivity around. I had already explained Lost Spring Part 1 in my previous video. Today I am going to explain the second part, I want to drive a car. And I'm sure you have read the text. You have also read what is the meaning of the title, the literary device in the Lost Spring. You have also read the theme, the message Anis Jung wants to display through the stories. In the first part, Sahib-e Alam, a rat picker, the story ends with a pessimistic note that Sahib is no longer a master of his destiny. But in the present story, which today I'll relate with examples, with PPTs, you'll come to know that though Mukesh belonged to the family of bangle makers, the utter exploitation by the politicians, the police, the middlemen, Sahukar, and who else? But still, the zeal and zest for life is not taken away from him. He belongs to your category, the young rebel, and he's there all set to fulfill his dreams. The writer sees a ray of hope in him. So, what are we waiting for? Let's move on to the text and explanation. In the first part of Lost Spring, we come to know that Sahib is no longer his own master. But in the second part, within the story, we deal with Mukesh, another character who comes from the family of bangle makers. The title is I Want to Drive a Car. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Do you know anything about cars? I asked. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. See the confidence. The young boy Mukesh, he's ambitious enough to fulfill his dreams, no matter what comes in his way. Though he comes from the city, Firozabad, which is famous for its bangles. Firozabad is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent generations working round furnaces, welding glasses, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. Usually in the board exams, a very common question is, what makes the city Firozabad famous? So here is the answer. Now, second part, it deals with the family, the way they live, the miserable conditions, the type of hutments, where they live, where do they work, how are the children involved with the parents. It deals with all that. So here I start with the description of the living conditions where Mukesh lives. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperature in dingy cells without air and light. That if the law, if enforced, could get them and all those 20,000 children. So make sure that it is his family is the family that belongs to bangle makers, and there are about 20,000 children who are working along with their parents. They are slogging, they're spending their day and night hours with their parents, working so hard to earn the bread and butter. And unfortunately, even the parents fail to understand that it is illegal for the parents to make their own children work and help in getting the family income. Now what results? See, often it loses the brightness of their eyes. So when they become adult, because of the glass dust particles and because their eyes are more adjusted towards the darkness, their eyes lose the brightness and many of them lose their eyesight. Now we talk about the miserable hutments where they live. And so Mukesh volunteers the author and he takes her to his renovated house which his father had built, We walk down stinking lanes choked with garbage, past homes that remain hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors. Wobbly doors, it refers to unstable doors. No windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in the primeval state. Primeval means primitive state. In the ancient times, when the human beings were the earliest settlers, they had stopped migration. At that time, the animals like sheep, goats, cows, etc. used to live along with the human beings. So here also the animals which could be there in the huts like goats, they are living in the same room, sharing the same area. And as the narrator has been taken away to the house, and she meets a young frail woman who is cooking the evening meals for the whole family. Though her eyes are filled with smoke, she smiles. And this refers to this young woman as the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Though she is not much older, but she is the bahu, the daughter-in-law of the house. And as per the Indian custom, she had to take a veil closer to her face. It means she has to cover her face. It also refers to the parda system, that whenever the elders or senior members are there, the custom demands, and as such, they must cover their face before the male elders. And here, who is the elder one? He is the impoverished bangle maker. Impoverished bangle maker, it refers to the poor person who had no other options. First of all, he had tried to earn his livelihood by being a tailor, and then he tried to become a bangle maker. But unfortunately, in spite of taking both the occupations, nothing proved to be fruitful. He could not even repair his own house or get his two sons educated. He is contented to have done only one thing, that is, he was able to deliver the art of making bangles. In the second part of page 18, you see how the aged grandmother, she speaks out in this manner. It is his karam, his destiny. For every misfortune, they take it to be the destiny. And here it is Mukesh's grandmother who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. And now you see, can a God's given lineage ever be broken? This shows that she is a firm believer of destiny, and she thinks that it is a part of her fate. Nothing can be changed. Even her husband's blindness, their misfortunes, their impoverished conditions, everything was pre-decided. And now no one can break or change this. Every other yard, every street in Firozabad, spirals of bangles. Sunny gold, patty green, royal blue, pink, purple. Every color born out of the 7 colors of the rainbow lie in the mounds in unkempt yards. Unkempt yard refers to the dirty yards, where the young men, they take these bangles in these push carts and they sell them in the nearby towns. Here the beautiful description of the bangles is given, and it's also compared with the 7 colors of the rainbow. And now you see, how are they prepared? This has been shown here, that here they symbolize the beauty in the hands of the women of India. But in the dark hutments, next to the lines of the flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Mark these important lines. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. See the eyes. Continuously for long hours together, these children, they are working in the dark hutments, in the thin lights, flickering oil lamps. No proper light, no proper ventilation is there, and that is the reason they work for longer hours in dim light without any protection, without any care. Hence, their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. And that is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. This is the reason. These are the health issues. Not only this, even apart from it, there are many infectious diseases in the lungs, the asthma and other problems. Now in the concluding part of this page, it's referred to Savita, a young girl. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine. See, a beautiful simile. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity means piousness, of the bangles she helps make. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag. I hope you know, whenever we have Karwa Chauth, whenever you have any festival, certainly the women are the first one who put on the adoring bangles. And they symbolize the Indian woman's suhag, and it is very much auspicious whenever the marriage ceremonies take place. And the writer says, it will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil, her hands dyed red with henna. So it means the day she will realize the sanctity, the importance of these bangles when she herself gets married. And when she has dyed her hands, D-Y-E-D, it refers to that she has put on the mehendi on her hands, and the red bangles, which is a mark of their suhag, they are rolled into her wrist. And here the old lady, she's been compared. The old woman besides her, who became one many years ago, she still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. It refers to this old lady. And now how pitifully she speaks. Ek waqt ser bhar khana bhi nahi khaya. It means she could not completely enjoy one full meal in her entire lifetime. For we all have dreams, we all have something to fulfill, that yes, I'll do this, I'll do that. But for these poor children or poor people, only one time full meal is also not achievable. And that's what she has received, she has gathered. Even when she got married, her husband also could not give her anything. He could not even give her twice the meals. And he also speaks out that all I have done is make a house for the family to live in. The cry of having money to do anything except carrying on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. It means though they are involved in this bangle making business, but this business is not at all profitable. And that is why the young men who are following the trend of the elders, they also have that they are in abject poverty, they are exploited by other people, and they are in the state of penury. Penury, poverty, with no money. Years of mind-numbing toil. Mind-numbing toil, it refers to that extreme hard work that they have done for years together. But the outcome is zero result. And that is why excessive hard work, but when it's not fruitful, not giving you any gains, no profits, then certainly the initiative, the zeal and zest for life, and even the ability to dream is gone. Whenever, if I ask you an open question, that no doubt you are coming from good families, but if you have dreams, how would you try to fulfill? Certainly you will have dreams, and you look dreams with open eyes. Even if your father or the parents can afford many things, you'll still have something better, and you will like to have a life larger than what you have seen. So see these children and compare yourself with them, that how unfortunate these children are who have lost their childhood at such a young age. Why not organize yourself into a cooperative? I hope you're familiar that cooperative movement is a very good example and a good concept for the small scale industry. It has revolutionized and It has certainly changed the life of many poor people who were earlier exploited by the middlemen or so-called their well-wishers. Children, you might have heard about Amul. I'm sure you might have it's a big brand in India, and it gives a number of milk products, creams, chocolates, butter, ice cream, etc. This was also initially a cooperative. Now it has taken a full big industry and it is managed by Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. And see, everyone is earning good profits. So thinking of such good business, she gave a plan that they must organize themselves. But see what happens. I asked a group of young men who have fallen into vicious. Vicious means a trap. A trap, you have seen a spider's cobweb, that once you get into it, you cannot come out of it. So same is the life of these young men who have trapped their parents and grandparents. That's why they say, even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police. Hauled up will be asked to appear in the court, or we are called up by the police, we are beaten. And many a times you have seen the Hindi movies, how the police is insensitive. And at times the young men who are poor, they're tortured, treated brutally, that they accept the crime, which even if they have not done, they are made to accept. That's why beating and dragged into the jail of doing something illegal. This is something that is there in their mind. And that is why they do not want to go against these middlemen, and even the dream of forming a cooperative is not there. They talk endlessly in a spiral that moves from poverty to apathy. Apathy means callousness, the cruelty, which leads to greed and to injustice. Greed of having more money, more profits, and injustice, it refers to the poor people. Who cares for the poor people, whether they live or they die? The same is the money matters, and the rich people often ill-treat and use these poor people. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds. See, two words have been referred to. These two words are, one is the word of the person who are exploited, the people, the bangle makers who are exploited. It's one of the world is theirs. And the second world is the people who exploit them. One of the family caught in the web of poverty. Web of poverty is again a metaphor that they are entangled in the poverty and they cannot come out of it because the zeal is gone, the zest is gone. They have taken huge loans from the middleman, sahukars, and how can they repay? So if they start doing anything away from this tradition, they are compelled, they are beaten, false, forgery is fake cases are made up against them, and police calls them and beats them, ill treats them. That is why they do not dare to stand against these people. Certainly, it's a stigma. Stigma refers to, it's a mark of disgrace in which they are born. And so it's a reference to vicious circle of sahukars. When the poor people, they need something, maybe due to illness or marriage or to rebuild a house, certainly they need money. And at that times, these good doers, these sahukars and middlemen and all these people, they come and they try to be their good friend and help them, but later exploit them by taking huge amount of interest. That's why. And even the bureaucrats, the keepers of law and politicians, they are hand in gloves with the other people. So little has been thought about these bangle makers. Together they have imposed the baggage. Baggage, it refers to be, they are enforcing the same occupation on the coming generations. That is why even the child cannot resist and he cannot avoid or have some other dreams rather than following his own forefathers' tradition of making bangles. And daring is not part of his growing up. And to do anything else would mean to dare. Dare means to challenge the so-called authorities of the bangle making business. And the narrator, the author, really feels that she is able to see a ray of hope when she sees Mukesh in such an ambitious and in a confident voice. He appears to be a young rebel. When I sense flash of it in Mukesh, I'm cheered. I want to be a motor mechanic. And then this boy is all ready to do anything, willing to accept all the hardships. He's happy to go to work in a garage which is even a long way from his house, but he will go to any extent to fulfill his dream, or he's set to change his occupation and have a better livelihood with dreams along with it. The narrator, in a playful manner, asks her, "Why do you dream of flying, of driving a car? Why not you dream of flying a plane?" It was too much for the boy. The boy understands his limitations. That is why, in his small murmur, he says, "No." There is an embarrassment. And it's his young age that he is not regretting. He knows his limitations, so he says no to it, and he's contented with his dream that he will learn to repair the cars and be a motor mechanic in his life. So in the end, the story ends with few airplanes fly over Firozabad. It means it is only Mukesh who is responsible for his fate. He intends to be the young rebel who will break the tradition and move a long way to fulfill his dreams.